was born, doctors said that she wouldn't survive. Well, that was 5 years ago. Today, she started preschool.
For any child, the first day at preschool is a milestone, but for Julia Patterson, it's a testament to modern medicine. She was born with DeGeorge syndrome, a calcium deficiency, poor immune system and a heart condition. Doctors said she wouldn't live 6 weeks, and when she underwent a major operation at 10 days old, they said her chances of coming out of theatre alive were just 1%.
There were times after that when she would get quite ill and be raced back to hospital. And they were times where you thought, is this really it? Because we had seen a lot of our friends lose their children.
But this fragile girl has a stoic heart. She went on to have 22 more operations, 15 in just 1 year.
You don't give up hope, even when there's no hope there.
After being fed through a tube in her stomach for half her life, the first morsel she swallowed was ice cream, and it's remained her favourite ever since. Walking unaided was a skill she learnt only at Christmas. Julia's prognosis is good, but she still suffers from delayed growth and is profoundly deaf. Basic sign language is how she communicates, and that's what her teacher will be showing to the other children.
I'll be talking using my hands as well as using speech, so I'd say, Julia is drinking.
In 2 weeks, Julia will be 5 years old, a birthday to celebrate growing up among newfound friends.
And the best of luck to her.
Welcome back. Little Julia Patterson is, as we said, 1 in a million, in more ways than one. I showed you that film a little earlier where Julia was born with the usually fatal DeGeorge syndrome that strikes one child in every million. Julia wasn't expected to live past 5 weeks. She was so determined to live that 23 operations, and her family was so determined, 23 operations later, little Julia is being called a medical miracle, as indeed she is. She spent her first day at preschool last Friday, which is the film we just showed you. And now to talk, would you please welcome Julia, her mum, Mari, and Rob Last from the Royal New South Wales Institute for Deaf and Blind Children. We just had a little episode with Julia there, apart from clapping. She was just letting you know that she wanted to go for a ride in the car.
Yes.
And
She was a little tired too.
and go to sleep.
And she wanted to drink.
She looks terrific now. How sick was she at birth, though, Murray?
Very critically ill. She was given a very, very slim chance of pulling through, about 1% when she actually went to theatre. She was literally on death's door many times, and it was a terribly horrific time for all of us.
Now, all the experts and all the kind medical people obviously were saying to you, you've got to brace yourself, you have to prepare yourself for the fact that she won't live.
They gave us 6 hours when her bowel ruptured. She was 10 days old. They gave us 6 hours for her to live, or 1% to go through theatre, a chance of coming out, and that was what they gave us. Many times after that, when she got viral infections or pneumonia, or she just couldn't swallow properly, so they couldn't feed her, and her breathing was a problem. She really was.
These photos were taken the first year?
Yes, she was about 9 months old there. That was the one when she was about 6 hours old before they took her from Bankstown Hospital after she was born.
And she had to spend the first year in hospital?
Yes, in Prince of Wales Children's Hospital, which was incredible. They were fantastic.
But from your point of view, obviously the chance of bonding or mothering would have been...
Very difficult. Because she was all that time in the humicrib, she was literally 6 or 7 months without being able to nurse her. She had lots of tubes and monitors and all sorts of drips and things going. It was very hard to bond, but yet we believed that we had to be there. We kept feeling the nursing staff were more of a mother to her than we were, and that was hard.
Yes. How was the first day at school?
Tremendous.
Murray?
Very exciting for us because it's something we didn't anticipate would happen for a long, long time, and certainly in the early days didn't ever imagine it would happen. And the preschool was tremendous. The kids were fabulous, and they really... Little girl mothered her, which was really great. But what we want to do is for her to be accepted as a normal child in a normal preschool.
Obviously, Julia had to become the focus of the whole family's life.
She did. You felt actually as though you were living in Prince of Wales Hospital and you went back to home sort of as a holiday retreat sometimes. Yeah. It got that way.
What was the line that... was it David or Scott who coined the phrase that they called Mum Meals on Wheels?
I think it was both of them.
The idea was that you basically just stopped for a McDonald's on
Yes. Scott actually said at one stage, do we have to go to McDonald's again? And that's just the little things that we remember, the joy parts now that we remember.
Well, Scott, is it obviously is all worthwhile now when you look at Julia like this?
Yeah.
You had to give up your soccer and your baseball?
No. We managed to work around it.
Did you?
We tried to lead a normal life as much as possible, but sometimes it was a bit hard.
I bet it was hard. I mean, is it... One wonders, I'm sorry to do this to you, and we thought it was a good idea to give her the ice cream.
She's enjoying it, believe me.
It's spilling all over.
No, she's right.
Thanks for talking to us.
That's okay.
Would you please thank our guests, please? Julia.
Do we know how the Charge syndrome comes about? Do we know what causes it?
We don't know what causes it. It's not a genetic problem. It's one of those things that just happens. There are 6 things with the Charge. The Charge word actually stands for 6 things that are wrong with the children. The 6 are columbia, which is an eye defect, which Julia doesn't have. The H is for the heart defects. The A is for the artresia, which is the nose blockage. The R is for retarded rate of growth and development. The G is genital problems, which is mainly little boys. And the E is for the ear abnormalities, which relates to the deafness and the shapes of the ears.
As I said, Julia was the first little girl in Australia, the first child in Australia to be diagnosed. Up to that point, what did the doctors believe was wrong?
Well, she was actually diagnosed in the very early weeks of life as having DiGeorge syndrome, which is a part of Charge syndrome. It's the heart defect, the calcium, the immune system and the shape of the face. And that's initially what they diagnosed her as. And it's only in the last month that we've picked up the Charge syndrome, which has come from information from a doctor of hers that went overseas.
Julia spotted herself on the high-rise monitor. No, there's another one behind us. It doesn't matter where you go. Julia's actually 6?
She'll be 6 in March.
Long time, huh?
Yes, a long time.
Long time with a little girl.
A little one, yes.
Got a lot of problems.
Yes.
And chewing lessons.
Yes.
Explain that.
Well, Julia didn't actually know how to chew and swallow together. It was incoordinated. And the speech pathologist picked up that she was what they call squirreling her food in the side of her mouth. She was chewing the moisture out of it, swallowing the moisture, but then gagging on the dry food.
Right.
So we had to teach her to chew and swallow together. And that's worked extremely well. She's really learning now to chew normal food.
Yeah.
Up to that point, even up to 6 months ago, we were blenderising everything to get it down. She's on growth hormone injections and she's grown 2 inches in 12 months.
Hey.
Which was lovely when she hadn't grown 2 inches in 5 years.
Yes.
It was really great. So that's sort of something she'll probably grow 2, maybe 3 next year.
Certainly encouraging and interesting concept for the doctors who are for the first time having to face a problem like this.
Well, it is. It's a real challenge to them. They're sort of, as they say, writing the books as they go along.
We have to leave it there, unfortunately, but Murray, thank you very much for coming and talking about it. And Julia, thank you. I know she can't necessarily respond terribly well, but we do thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Here's your money. Okay, wait bye to everybody. One side?
Yes.
Good girl. I'll see you later.
Thanks, Hannah.
Bye-bye.
Oh, sorry. No, look, Julie can do whatever she wants to do. I'll film it. Is there two people here? Oh, wow, 2 movie stars. 2 movie stars. This is, that was, I better tell everybody, that was RFE and Niece.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's say that concept. She hasn't got the concept of. She loves long baths.
Yeah, that sensory stuff we talk about so much. You know, having a lovely bath and.
But she won't go up and wash her face. You know, you got to firstly tell her to go and wash her face.
Well, she looks great.
Yeah. Smile. Make it too close.
Yeah, that's it.
This is going to be good with all.
I just.
You're a star, aren't you, Julie?
Okay, so she does want to play. No, that's good. That's good. She was terrific.
It's not her favourite thing, Rob.
She can write a name.
Oh, okay.